11 a.m. East Coast time. Special guest this week, Scott Dalton. What's up, Scott?
How you doing? Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, good to have you here. And Scott's with,
always enjoy talking about urinal.
Yeah, we're going to talk about urinal things, urinal screens of all things today. I was joking with Scott that we're going to be talking about
it's my favorite subject to talk about for the past 5 years since this product was conceptualized in 2021. It's been a long journey. My wife wants to kill me, but we're now successfully distributing to about 12 countries across the world. We've established manufacturing in China with our partners, Tiger in Guangzhou, and it's been a very fun process. I became venture capital funded in 2023 after investing 2 years and a lot of my own money to this up. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
That is awesome. No, the name of the company is URIN. So you, Scott, we got a little bit of delay, but URIN.
Yeah, the company. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're coming through a little delay there. Yeah, it's URIN. We're at Urin-Solutions.com. We've patented a product that does everything a regular urinal screen does, which is accept a stream of forced urine from the user. We've also come to the front of the urinal with a hinged drip-catching lip that diffuses and catches drips. And we have spacing underneath for air to flow through to let it dry out. It's the first urinal screen of its kind. We have it patented in Europe, granted US utility patent. We have international phase entries into Canada, Mexico, EU, and we have some design patents on file in China. So we're thinking big. We're looking to change the way 4 billion men pee, and me trying to do it on my own has been pretty challenging, but that doesn't mean that it can't be done, and it hasn't been done, and we're marching on with it. We have some new products that we're bringing to the market at Interclean in Amsterdam this year. We have an enzyme option, which has the puck, enzyme puck inside, which is a 60-day option for the European market. And what we've done here, we've added it to the substructure instead of raising it into the front. And we've added a fluid channel here. So every time there's a flush, the puck cleans itself out and flows into the drain. And every time a man urinates and the drips and dribbles land on our drip catcher and make their way down to the puck, there's an assistance of fluid dynamics down into the drain.
Fluid dynamics.
So I guess I could talk myself a little bit. I had a cleaning and maintenance.
We got a little bit of delay, so I think there's some kind of delay going on. But let's build the story here. Like for those watching, most men don't dribble, and I'll bring what that looks like. So I'm gonna share my screen right now, and I apologize. We got this delay here. This got a little bit of delay, but this is the reality of the situation. Is this mess right here? Again, I never thought I'd be talking about this, but this is a problem.
Exactly.
And that's where your product comes in.
Yeah, that's true. So exactly. So we're engaging the user with directional arrows onto the front of the urinal. Yeah, that's a picture from when I came up with this design in 2021. The whole intellectual property behind it, that I got a little scientific with it, a little mathematic with it. That, I owned a maintenance company for 18 years. Some of my very good customers, we service their homes on Long Island. Some of them are PhDs and mathematicians and scientists in the town that I lived in Setauket. So once I realized what the problem was, I had to put the mathematical equation with it. I did some novice, not saying I'm an expert, some novice studying of topology and fluid dynamics to come up with the mathematical formula that the average distance a man will stand from a wall on the porcelain bowl is about 15.5 inches. The porcelain bowl coming off the wall is about 14.5 inches. So there's a 1.5 inch variant that needs to be made up. No matter what urinal screen you have in there, if you don't bridge the gap on the z-axis coming towards the front of the urinal and create a manifold extending it out, gravity's going to take over. The parabolic arc of urine that streams out from 20 to 30 seconds of a full bladder with about, I believe it's 15 to 20 psi behind that stream. When that stream fades out, it doesn't matter how old you are, gravity takes over and the drip falls straight down. That's why I got into a little acceptance that everyone else has been looking at urinal screens planar in a 2D environment, brought it out of the Euclidean plane and kind of envisioned in my mind how we need to extend the boundary to accept the urine when it's just being pulled down by gravity and get it into the urinal drain, resulting in dry floors. That's the science behind it. I'm a real novice in that field of topology and differential geometry, but a little help from some of my clients, and I was able to figure this out. And the hardest part, obviously, was taking the prototypes that I was making out of plastic and throwing into urinals and seeing, hey, if there's nothing there, urine ends up on the floor. If you add right here and extend the manifold of the urinal screen towards the front of the urinal, someone's going to lean in and they're going to drip on it. And that's really the whole intellectual property behind the patents that we have on file and our product. So, we're the first ever to come to the front of the urinal. And that's basically the story of how we started.
Dude, we got a little bit of lag, so I'm going to talk for a second. You are now my favorite urinologist. Is that a urinologist? You're my favorite scientist now for urinal screens, because what you just went through is like, I've never thought about that. You were talking velocities, you were talking distances, you were talking X and Y vectors, and that's freaking awesome. Because the reality, Scott, again, we're geeking out on this stuff, and this is hilarious, but man, you're brilliant on what you're talking through. The reality is, if you step up to this urinal here, the reality is that 1 inch gap doesn't become 1 inch, because guess what? I don't want to get my new shoes dirty, so I'm going to step back 3 extra inches. This is insight for women who don't have to use their urinal. But if I see this, I'm stepping back here. My feet are coming right here at this point right here, because I don't want to step in that mess. So you go into it now. We got this delay, but I want you to kind of kick into that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's delaying a little bit, but that's okay. So, in order for me to be able to figure this out, I needed some money. And I was fortunate enough to be working at one of my good client. He's a venture capitalist. And I explained to him with a little melted dog collar that I'd ordered from Amazon, and I conformed a standard urinal screen onto it. And I'd explained to him in, very primitive terms, hey, men, step up. There's all these companies out there making money off these circular items. Some guys are even going to different areas of the urinal, but that's nothing new, I believe. Don't quote me, but some of those date back to Japan in the 1980s. So we were the first company to come to the front to catch these drips and prevent that mess. And that's an account that we maintained. And no matter what urinal screen you put in there, that's what the floor would look like at the start of the day. The puddle would be small, and then by the end of the day, guys are standing 2 foot back.
That's where I'm standing.
And we've had great success in some restaurants.
That's my
exactly. So there's if you're a high school student, you could probably reach the urinal from there. But as the years go on, you start getting into your 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. You're not going to reach that. So that's where our product comes into play. And we've had some great testing. We've been into the market for a year now, and we've saved some customers a lot of money that were installing urinal screens, standard urinal screens, and then also some floor protection. So with our product in the right situation, they can eliminate the floor protection. They don't need that. It's not just the function of the urinal screen that we provide, it's also the thought and engagement behind the product to get men just lean in. Because if we're coming out 1.5 inches and you lean in 1/2 inch, we're bridging the gap 1 urinal at a time.
Wow, that's your tagline right there, dude. 1 urinal at a time.
Yeah, we got a lot. It's a good subject matter to have some fun with. That's for sure. So we got some big shows coming up at Interclean with I mentioned.
Scott, how many of you have?
I'm sorry.
How many of these urinal screens have you put out in the market worldwide, would you say, in the last year?
We've got about 45,000 units sold.
Nice.
I was very, so my first really large show, when we launched this product, was in 2023 at ISSA in Las Vegas. And we had such a response. And I was really caught my pants down, because there was no way I was ever going to be able to supply all the orders that we were going to receive.
Dude,
then I made my second novice
Dude,
mistake.
You're full of lines, man.
Yeah, that I went to Amsterdam. But I'm sorry.
We got this delay going on, but you got your you got these one-liners that are great. You got caught at ISSA show with your pants down talking about urinal screens. I freaking love it, man. You got these taglines. You need to market
and
these. You need to market this like crazy.
You called me the site. You called me the scientist. I'm the PhD with a double E, self-taught. Yeah. So
I love it.
And the second large show that we had, we went to Amsterdam Interclean, and that was 2024, 2 years ago. I had such a response. It was unbelievable. I made the biggest novice mistake you could ever do. I went to one of the big manufacturers at the show and I said, hey, look, I just got requests for orders of like hundreds of thousands of these things. Would you like to work together? And so it shows how sophisticated and smart I was. That was like the worst thing I could have ever done. But, and I was also, the Janssen industry is very funny because you have to be very selective on who you talk to. And the kind of information you divulge. Someone had told me before that show, oh, you don't want to go there. I was like, I don't want to go to the biggest, show in the industry that comes around every 2 years. Why wouldn't I want to do that? So, I went and it went really well. And I ended up bringing my manufacturing costs down to a fraction of what I was paying, partnered up with a company there that I met in Asia at that show, and also paid for the show with a few of the sales. So you got to be very careful from who you take advice from in this industry.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, Scott. We got this delay going on. So if we're stepping on each other, I apologize. But I see your future right now being a huge success. And I'm going to ask you in a second what you want those distributors, those companies that are looking, maybe no one's actively looking for urinal screens, but I think just meeting you and having a conversation with you about this will change your mind. So I'm going to hit you with two questions. The first question is, what would you like to get for those listening, those distributors listening, and those buyers that are listening? What would you like, or even those contract cleaners that say, I'd like to bring this to the market? So that's my first question. My second question, or this is not a second question, my observation is I will bet you a steak dinner within the next 5 years, when this thing keeps taking off, you will have a urinal installed in your bathroom at the house, and your wife will hate you, but you will love it.
That's true. I actually had 5 urinals in my garage when I was developing this product. I ordered the smallest, widest, deepest, longest, you name it. I, decided to get each one in my garage, and I would go in there, and I even had a bucket. So a couple beers at nighttime when I'm going through the mathematics of this thing, I'm like, let's get into the garage. Let's see what actually happens. Where do we need to be? It was more than hands-on. It was quite the journey.
Dude,
to answer your question, where I would like to see this going is we're really looking to be acquired, or for someone to purchase the intellectual property rights of the company. I'm not really looking to become a manufacturer as such. We're a third-party operation. We own the intellectual property. We have a granted U.S. utility patent. As I say, we filed in multiple parts of the world where we've already gained market entry. We've got a pretty strong moat of intellectual property around our products. And I really would like to partner with a big company if they're looking for someone that's going to innovate for them, because this is the beginning. I mean, I'm not going to toot my own horn like most entrepreneurs do, but I was a cleaning guy and I decided I was going to make urinal screens, and I went to some trade shows and ended up selling them across the world. Nowhere near the numbers of these big companies, but I really did it right out of the gate. And this is just the beginning of the foundations of the company and where we're looking to go, and really give the clients something good. You can't sell them one product and then also piggyback another one just in case the one you're selling them doesn't work. I've never believed in that. I always wanted to give my clients, especially in my service business, the utmost of care and service that I could give them.
Dude, I love.
Did I answer both questions? Sometimes I get a little.
No. I love the story. First of all, I love the one-liners you have. Second of all, third of all, I love the fact that you've got urinals in your garage. Quite honestly, I think you got to go all in, man, and get one on the wall in your bathroom. I think you got to do some you get a case of beer or two, I think you're going to come out with version 4.0 pretty quickly. You have that thing installed in your house. You're doing research, man, hands-on research with your PEE degree. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. And I got to give a shout out. I think his name was Spencer Lovelace. He's a really interesting guy that I spoke to a little bit. I met him on LinkedIn, because you can meet people from all over the world on LinkedIn. And I believe he has 4 or 5 boys. And he's like, man, I got a urinal in my house. Send me one of these things. And I said, no problem. I send it to you. And he's like, kids love it. Works great. I was like, oh, this is great. What a great little story. Yeah. I believe he's into 3D printing, rapid prototyping. He's a really cool guy. But anyway, that was, the fun part of LinkedIn. And people actually do have urinals in their homes. It's not going to make me a millionaire, but any sale counts. I
love it. I love it. I'll do my part for you. We need to get offline. Maybe next week we jump on a call. I'll make some introductions to you, just different players that I think you ought to definitely talk to. Mark, who introduced us, Mark with Fast Track, he's a great resource too. So lean on him. But man, I did not expect. I know we had talked, and we had talked loosely to get on the show and just kind of talk what you're doing. I wasn't expecting the fun I just had, quite honestly. So thank you for that. This was a fun conversation. Urinal screens are not sexy business, but this was fun. I'm on your side. I'm excited what you're doing, man, and I'm hoping you get a lot of views out of this, and I'm hoping you get some inquiries on what you want to accomplish. But to wrap up, what would you like to? I'll give you final thoughts, final ideas, final concepts you want to throw out to the masses, man.
Yeah, so in terms of the big companies, I'm venture capital backed. I acquired a seed funding round. We're going to be looking to do a Series A this spring. And we're looking to grow the company in as many parts of the world as we can. There's 4 billion men on the planet. Every single one of us has stepped into a urinal at some point in time and had to deal with a disgusting puddle. As I mentioned, there's certain parts of the world where people wear sandals or like expensive shoes, or you just don't want to stand in pee in general. So that's, the bigger picture for the company moving forward is we're looking to align ourselves for a licensing deal for the intellectual property of our products. And if I could just finish there, one more pun. Yeah, we're taking the PISS, which is a saying that we say in England, but we're doing that. We are not taking the PISS. We are and we aren't. So that's kind of fun. But I just wanted to finish with one statement. There was a rumor going around from an unverified source of a guy that worked. He was cleaning in a bathroom, one of the largest building service contractors in the country, and they had sampled our urinal screens in this major airport. And the report was the guy was cleaning the bathroom, and he saw the owner of one of the largest urinal screen companies in the world come in looking all disheveled. He must have had just another innovation meeting with his team, scratching their heads. He seemed a little upset. The sales were down for the last quarter of the year. It's unverified, so don't fact check me. Apparently a tear rolled down his cheek and landed right in the drip catcher.
Boom.
You might want to fact check me. It's just a story. The story that's going around, but I wanted to put it to bed. So we'll finish on that.
That is a hell of a close, Scott. I love that, man. I love it. So
yeah, thank you. And it's kind of funny because someone also said, how much is it going to make you go away? 100 grand. I said, you might want to change that digit and add some zeros, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm into that. I have 5 years without a paycheck. I'm that kind of guy. I'm just I'm not doing it for fun. We're doing it for the goal at the end of the promised land, as they call it, and the chest at the end of the rainbow. But we're just doing it. We're having fun doing it.
Here's my line. You're all in. You're all in. Boom.
Yeah, we're all in. You're in. We're in. Yes. This was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun. Sorry about the delay.
I think
you are all in. Exactly. Yeah. Every which way.
It's the upload and download going on at the same time. So anyway, I'm going to get you back on the show again, because I think you got some one-liners that would make this a hell of an entertaining version too. But let's do this. Let's wrap up today.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And it was nice. Yeah, it was nice of Mark to connect us from Fast Track. I've worked with him at a couple of trade shows now. They have some great innovations. He's bringing the Activate to market in America, which is a partner of mine over in Australia, Clean Star. They got that vacuum-powered battery head, the battery-powered vacuum head. That thing's unbelievable. And Mark has all these vacuums and motor scrubbers and you name it. Mark is one of the best salesmen out there, and I appreciate him connecting me and you today.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time and good meeting you formally. And again, you surprised me. I want to have you back on the show at some point. So whenever you're ready, let me know. Let's go. All right.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. You have a great day.
You too.